So friends, listen up, because what I'm about to tell you today is nothing less than a historic shockwave in American military history. A move so big, so unprecedented, that it is shaking the very foundation of global power politics. For the first time ever, America's crown jewel, the F-35, the most advanced fighter jet humanity has ever created, is leaving the tight grip of Washington. And guess what? It's going into the hands of a country no one, literally no one, expected. This one decision by Donald Trump is about to collapse long-standing power structures, break down walls, and rewrite military equations across Asia. And yes, India is going to feel the impact directly. This is why what I'm about to explain is unbelievably important. So sit tight, stay fully focused, because once you hear the full picture, your mind, trust me, will be blown. And hey, if you want India's voice, India's strength, and India's strategic rise to be heard across the world, hit that like button and subscribe to support this channel. Let's begin. All the Arab countries, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, UAE, they're all tagged as American allies, right? But let's be honest, they're not America's real inner circle, not the deep trust allies, because America's true, unquestioned allies are the Anglo-Saxon nations, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the UK, Ireland. These are the countries Washington trusts with closed eyes because they speak the same language, share the same culture, and think the same way. Yes, some European nations like Germany or Poland appear in the ally list, but Washington doesn't trust them the same way. They are partners, but not inner circle. And the biggest proof of that? The F-35 program. America has never handed out its deepest military secrets, its top-tier tech, to any country except those it considers completely loyal and predictable. Because the F-35 isn't just a fighter jet. It is a generational leap, a weapon so far ahead of its time that even America's adversaries admit the F-35 and F-22 are future weapons created before the world was ready. That's why Washington guards this aircraft like a crown jewel. But today, Trump just flipped the entire board. Donald Trump announced that the rumors were true. The United States will sell F-35s to Saudi Arabia, and not just a few, 48 F-35 Lightning fighter jets. Deal confirmed, negotiations underway, contract coming in a few weeks. With this one move, Trump has shattered decades-old traditions, rewritten Middle East military balance, and broken Israel's long-standing monopoly on fifth-generation stealth power. Until now, Israel was the only country in the Arab world holding F-35s. That's how Israel dominated the entire region. Remember when Israel struck targets deep into Tehran, Iran's capital, using F-35s? Iran couldn't detect them. Not a single F-35 was hit, not one. Israel's dominance came from this aircraft. But that dominance ends now. Saudi Arabia is entering the stealth era. And guess what? Washington's deep state is furious. The CIA doesn't like it. The Pentagon doesn't like it. The military-industrial command structure doesn't like it. Why? Because Saudi Arabia doesn't have the infrastructure to protect F-35 secrets. China's influence inside Saudi Arabia is extremely high. Beijing could learn the F-35's technology through Saudi exposure. China could turn that knowledge into weapons against the US in the South China Sea and across the Pacific. This is exactly what the Pentagon fears. But Trump, he doesn't care. Trump is pushing this deal forward with full force, no matter who disagrees. Why is Trump doing this? Simple. Saudi Arabia and the Trump family share deep personal financial ties. Massive investments, huge business advantages, billions potentially flowing toward Trump's business empire. And in return, Saudi Arabia gets something it has begged for over a decade: entry into the elite F-35 club. Past US presidents rejected Saudi requests, mostly because Israel and the CIA pressured them. But this time, the story is different. Trump is breaking every old rule. And now let's talk about India, because this is where things get serious. Saudi Arabia buying F-35 jets, Saudi Arabia signing a mutual defense pact with Pakistan. None of this is coincidence. This is a coordinated geopolitical play, which means India must urgently strengthen its intelligence network, upgrade its military surveillance, improve diplomatic response, and deeply understand what's happening inside Arab nations, because anti-India activities in the Middle East are rising, and Israel may be India's strongest partner for intelligence inside these regions. But the most important question, Why doesn't India have F-35s yet? India has money. India has influence. India has demand. But the F-35 comes with strings, heavy American control, intrusive conditions, operational restrictions. Washington wants to monitor, track, and control how India uses the F-35. And India will never accept that. India wants a clean, unrestricted platform, which the US refuses. But here's the twist. If Trump is ready to sell F-35s to Saudi Arabia for money, will he sell them to India too? Or should India move forward with Russia's Su-57 and build its own stealth ecosystem? This is the moment where India must take a bold decision, because the era of stealth warfare is here, and falling behind is not an option anymore. If Saudi Arabia can get F-35s, India definitely needs something more powerful to maintain balance. So friends, that was today's complete, deeply researched update. Now tell me, what do you think about this massive shift in global power? Drop your thoughts in the comments. But before we wrap up, let me take you deeper, because this story doesn't end here. In fact, this is where things get even more intense, more dramatic, and far more dangerous for the balance of power across the Middle East and Asia. Because the F-35 deal is just the spark. What's coming next is the firestorm. The new Middle East arms race has begun the moment Saudi Arabia gets F-35s. The entire region is going to react fast and aggressively. Countries like UAE, Qatar, Egypt, even Turkey will not sit quietly and watch Saudi Arabia leapfrog ahead. And remember, every one of these nations has money. Lots of it. The Middle East doesn't buy weapons in pieces. They buy in bulk, they buy fast, and they pay cash. So once Saudi gets the green light, you can expect a full-blown fifth-generation arms race in the Arab world. And this is exactly what the Pentagon has feared for decades. Because power spreads, technology spreads, influence spreads. Once the F-35 enters the Gulf, the US loses its monopoly over the region's air dominance. Israel loses its technological edge. Iran feels threatened. Turkey grows jealous. Qatar wants parity. UAE demands inclusion. And one by one, every nation will demand a seat at the F-35 table. This won't just be a military shift, it will be a geopolitical earthquake. How this shakes India's future, now let's shift back to India, because India is the quiet but crucial player in this entire drama. India's strategic environment is changing at lightning speed. China is modernizing rapidly. Pakistan wants more Saudi funding. Gulf countries are shifting militarily. Israel is recalibrating its alliances. The US is focused on money-driven deals. And this means one thing: India must accelerate its stealth capabilities right now. For a decade, India delayed stealth decisions, but now the world is moving ahead, fast. If Saudi Arabia can buy F-35s, if UAE gets them next, if Turkey presses again, India cannot remain dependent on fourth-generation fighters forever. India has two realistic paths. One, buy the F-35. If Trump returns fully into power and pushes pay-and-take deals, India might finally get access to the F-35. But at what cost? Because the F-35 comes with American oversight, data sharing requirements, operational restrictions, possible GPS/mission control limitations, maintenance dependency on US bases, and India will never agree to such tight controls. Unless Trump removes restrictions, which is possible, India will have to think twice. 2. Go all in on the Su-57. The Russian Su-57 is still evolving, but it is unrestricted, customizable, compatible with Indian doctrine, geographically aligned, free from political strings, and Russia is willing to give India deep access into development. But the Su-57 is not yet at F-35's maturity, not even close, which means India faces a tough choice. Take American excellence with strings, or take Russian flexibility with limitations. This is why India must act quickly and decisively. And before you leave, one small favor: hit like, share this video with your friends, and support the effort behind bringing you these detailed updates.